Basic functional unit, the nerve cell, like in lecture, parts and function. When I look at the nerve cell, I have a soma, the cell body, and then I have a long tail. The soma has the dendrite extending from it. Notice the dendrite is continuous with the soma. This is different from these. These are the terminal from a different cell, or terminals from different cells. Because it's a model, obviously you have to physically attach them to it. But obviously in real life, they're not physically touching the soma, right? There's a synapse between them. Okay? So if I were to take this cell, go all the way to the end, then I would see the terminals. And that's the terminals from other cells. So dendrite, terminal. Notice it's like every other cell, cell body has your nucleus, raphiol, blah, 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 blah. Except, of course, it's specialized to conduct electricity, which is done here at the axon helix. So the axon helix, remember, has the voltage-gated channels to generate the action potential. The action potential will travel down the axon, and notice the axon is covered with a cell. So we take the cell, we squeeze out everything, we use the plasma membrane and wrap it around, and this cell is the myelin sheath. This model doesn't show it so well, but in between the myelin sheath is a space, the node of Ranvier. Okay. So the nodes would be in between, kind of like this.
And then the gray part is the endonuclear, right?
Yes. So remember that the myelin sheath is to increase the speed of electricity, conduct electricity, whereas the endoneurium, this thing here, that's for the protection of the nerve cell. Questions about the nerve cell?
Yeah.
Of the action potential, the nerve impulse.
I had a question too. What did you say about okay, so the electricity is made in the axon helix?
Right,
You
that's
said
where it's
something else.
generated. I'm sorry?
You said something else. I couldn't take
That's where most of the voltage gated channels are.
most of the voltage.
Voltage, yeah. So the ones that open with electricity, we call them voltage gated.
Yeah, as far as the endothelium,
Mhm.
if this, can you describe so I can get a picture of where the perineum is?
Right, so then I would take about, I don't know, whatever, 10,000 individual one. Each one of these would be wrapped in that. All 10,000 I would wrap in a package. That package is the perineurium.
Oh,
And then when I have this 10,000 bundle or wrap with a perineurium, then I have another perineurium, and I wrap all of them in an epineurium.
oh, okay.
Excellent. Other questions? Okay. So then we take these, about 100 billion of them, and fold them into this. So that's about 100 billion neurons. But before we do this, from your list, we'll follow your list and do the column first, the column. So I'm going to orient the column the way that it is anatomically in us. If you remember the vertebrae, this is the body, therefore it's ventral anterior. This is the spinous process, therefore dorsal posterior. And in the nervous system, we use both interchangeably. Ventral to be anterior, dorsal to be posterior. We use those like that. So then this is my column. To protect it, we have the vertebrae, but we also have a skin on it. we do have this tough skin around it called the meninges. The meninges have three layers. A layer directly on the brain, the spine, and the column. We call that the pia mater. Another layer that has spider-like arrangement, the arachnoid, and then an outer layer that's hard and tough, the dura. The dura mater, the arachnoid mater, and the pia mater, all three forms the meninges. And that's the same arrangement for the brain. So dura, if I'm doing a epidural injection, where would I go? Epi is outside. So I would locate the dura and then bring the needle to the epidural. Okay. If I'm doing a spinal tap, then I need to go through the dura because this would be where the CSF is traveling. And I, of course, have to, this is pretty tough, so I have to put a lot of pressure, but not so much so that I poke this. Right, just enough to get into the space.
I don't know if it has anything to do with it.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if this has anything to do with it.
It
but
has everything to do with it.
I'm not a mother, so I wouldn't know. But for an epidural during labor,
Right,
that would be.
in the epidural space. Right, that's the point. The point is you need to know that this is the dura mater, and we want to be outside the dura. So you want to deliver the drug in here to be picked up by this vasculature. And then if you need to tap to test for something, for the spinal tap, then you have to go through the dura to get into the CSF.
Is that epidural bad for you? Or do I get it? The one that I get it?
I really can't tell you. You gotta talk to them.
No, because they say it's good for you. I know about it.
I never got one either. I don't know what to say. I mean, obviously, if it's for pain relief and it relieves your pain, yeah. I really don't know. Let's see. Very good. Other questions? Excellent. Okay. So then, I have my column. I look inside. It's all nerve cell. So all the cell bodies, the nucleus from the gray matter. All the myelin sheath around the axon from the white matter. So that means I have information coming in, synapsing on the cell bodies, and information going up and down in the white matter. So in the white matter, I have huge columns with millions and billions of smaller column fascicles carrying millions of individual ones. Like your house wiring. There's a big cable, there's a blue one, a big one. And when you cut them, there's little ones in them. Same thing. So, I noticed this structure. They call the structure a horn, like the horn of a bull. Obviously, this is on the dorsal part, so these are the dorsal horn. These are the ventral side, these are the ventral horn. And these are on the side, so these are the lateral horn. I have a central canal, like in the thumb, for CSF to flow through. Since this is folded, that means, of course, the bumps are the gyrus, and the infolding, the valley, are the sulcus. The small one are sulcus, the big ones are fissure. So I have a ventral fissure and a posterior or dorsal gyrus, and they happen to be center, so they're central, not the lateral ones, the central ones. So then, we are looking at the information coming in and going out. I have a nerve. The nerve will come in and bring information. When it reaches this point, it splits into a dorsal and a ventral pathway. Notice the ball, and under the ball, there's another path. Okay? So the ball is not one ball, it's millions of nerve cell body. It's in the periphery, therefore it's a ganglion, the dorsal root ganglion. So information comes in, sensory goes to the dorsal root ganglion, to the dorsal root, and synapse on the dorsal horn. Synapse to the ventral horn. The cell bodies for the motor is in here, therefore I don't have a ventral ganglion. I just come out and go straight out, the ventral root. So all sensory info is in the dorsal, all ventral is motor. Last but not least, the nerve splits. The splitting going ventral is the ventral ramus. The split going dorsal is the dorsal ramus. And we'll see on Tuesday, we have the sympathetic ganglion. And you know what a ganglion is, of course. Questions?